Hello and welcome to Depth of Field. My name is Eric, and today, as always, we're going to be talking about movies and a little bit of video games, and you're in for a special treat, especially if you're a fan of both, because we have basically a god in the world of video games. This is a man, you might not know his name, but you've certainly seen or experienced his work. Welcome, Simon Peacock. How you doing?
Thank you. Well, I'm good now. I've been introduced as a god before.
Well, Simon is basically, you're an actor, but you're also a director for a lot of huge video game franchises, notably, well, we won't even get into exactly which ones, but I mean, you do voice directing and motion capture directing, and you've played. Your voice and body have appeared in several video games.
They have.
Yeah, and
sometimes
we're talking
at the same time.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
We're talking. Name some of the biggest ones.
I've done all but one of the Assassin's Creed games. I've done a lot of the Far Cry games, the Deus Ex universe. I've done those. I've done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because that's a huge game that nobody's ever played. Prince of Persia games. I think I did about 70.
If I may, I actually have a list that you provided of the many different. Okay, so voice director: Prince of Persia 3: The Two Thrones, Far Cry Instincts, Arthur and the Invisibles, Rainbow Six Vegas, Beowulf, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as you said, Cranium Kabuki, Alone in the Dark, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Lost via Damus, Splinter Cell, that's a pretty good one.
Yep.
Shaun White, Prince of Persia. This is just going back to 2007. If I scroll down a couple of pages to 2014, we have Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, we have Kingdom Under Fire 2, Outlast 2.
Yes.
Now here's an interesting one. So, why don't we see a clip? Because I think you brought a clip of one of the scenes that you directed.
Yes.
Let's take a look, and then we'll come back and talk
Okay.
about it.
First, we gotta get him on that cross. Get my hammer and nails. Let's get on up that hill. He will come born on locust wings, immaculate as a newborn. He will give us his gospel, the sacred words of his teaching. He will be nailed to a cross and die, and he will be buried. But he will rise again in more perfect flesh. We will eat of that flesh in holy communion and be healed of our physical sins, and we shall inherit this broken earth. See, we prepared everything. It's all ready for you.
What? Don't do this, please.
Where is your gospel? You're supposed to have a gospel for us to guide us in our salvation after the end.
Gospel?
The truth, your guidance. We suffered a long time waiting on you. Well, old Nick, I guess we better put those nails in.
Wait!
Oh, yeah! Look at that!
Always
Ouch.
end with a crucifixion. That's the first rule of show business.
Is that what they teach you in New Zealand?
That's what they teach.
Right, exactly. Always end with a crucifixion.
I was taught by the Legionnaires.
So, set this scene up for us. What was your contribution to this?
This was a little unusual for the way we usually do motion capture these days. This was done voice work first. So in that scene, you're hearing Carlo Mastroni is doing the two monstrous creatures, and Sean Baishu, your previous guest, is providing the player's voice. So we recorded the voice, and then actually the company that was in charge of it, Red Barrel's, got some CMF funding after the fact, because their first game had been quite successful. They made their applications, they got more money. So then they decided we have the money to do mocap for our cutscenes, so we can make them way more polished. So that particular scene there is I'm then playing the tiny little mutant guy.
That was you?
Yeah, because of the syphilis. His, not mine. I feel like I should clarify there. I left that dangling, so to speak. So I'm on top. I was actually on top of a ladder behind the other actor, and then that's us sort of lip syncing along to the dialogue that's already been recorded. So
Okay.
it's about learning the rhythm and the beats of the scene and trying to.
And normally it would be the other way around.
Yeah, or normally the ideal nowadays is you do voice and motion capture at the exact same time.
So the actor who's doing the mocap is also
Yeah, it's
providing
every
the voice?
part of the character.
That makes a lot more sense.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they just figuring that out now?
It's an interesting industry. Nothing's set in stone, and everything keeps changing, and the technology keeps changing. So we just keep trying stuff.
So what your job? I'm fascinated by this directing. Okay, let's talk about voice first.
Yeah.
What's required? Because it's a very delicate art, right? I mean, we were talking before about how do you solicit a scream from a poison sword versus just a regular sword? What?
And not a lot of room for method actors.
No, I guess not.
They don't last long in our industry. No, it's really about finding actors that can have fun doing it, that actually enjoy it, and they will really commit to it. And then it's, a lot of the times it's giving demonstrations.
So you actually have to...
For stuff like sword, being stabbed and things, it's to a really specific animation, which we may or may not have. So rather than try and explain it to them, it's easier just to do it.
Can I see an example?
Let's do a throat slash, for example. So it's going to be a quick slash and then some gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. So it's...
I'm going to try.
That's pretty good.
All right. I'm looking at you.
A little more saliva and we'll be right.
Okay, good. But okay, so...
That's my job. Wetter.
Wetter, right, okay. How did you learn, is it just from watching movies and watching games and figuring it out? Or is there science or, is there a handbook on how to direct voices in video
There's no
games?
handbook. In fact, my first time I did it, I was just put in the studio and told I was doing it.
For real?
Basically, yeah, I had no training. I didn't get to watch anybody else direct a video game or anything. It was just like, okay, you're up.
And what led you to that?
I'd been a voice actor for quite a long time in Montreal.
Yeah.
Came through animation and started doing games with Ubisoft primarily because they were the first company in Montreal, probably 22 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So I started doing voice for them. At the time, I played quite a lot of games, and they were becoming frustrated that everything they were doing was sounding a bit too much like a cartoon. It was a little too animated because all of their directors were from that animation world. They just crossed straight over.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
then a mutual friend recommended that they give me a try because they knew I actually understood games. So they were just like, okay.
And now you
direct
have
this.
So many to your credit.
Yeah, so it was just sort of a matter of figuring out what worked and what didn't and adapting on the fly.
That's
just my entire life, really.
Right, but if you can figure that out, then you're in good shape.
Yeah.
So that particular game, Outlast 2, this is basically a bunch of decrepit people trying to survive.
Yeah, it's a religious cult.
Yeah.
Somewhere, we think in Arizona. There's two cults, basically. One believes in the coming of the second coming, essentially, and the other believes in the arrival of the Antichrist. So they both think it's the same child. One of the lead characters in the game very quickly becomes impregnated and 9 months pregnant, like 20 minutes later. Okay. So both of these cults are fighting to get control of the baby, and one wants to kill the baby, one wants to make the baby into the new leader. So it's all focused around that. And then one of the cults is extremely inbred, so syphilis is rampant.
Hence your character.
Hence what
there.
you saw there.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence the casting call for anyone who seemed remotely syphilitic. Which I won, because really, it goes back to Henry VIII on my bloodline.
For real?
It doesn't. No, I'm lying. That's just syphilis joke.
What, 23 and me?
Yeah, anyone who knows syphilis knows that's a hilarious joke about Henry VIII. And we all know syphilis in one form or another.
Yes. So on that note, no.
Keep an eyebrow here.
Because it's gonna get way
good.
lower. We had Sean Baichu on our first episode.
Speaking of syphilis.
Sean, I'm looking at you. By the way, to all you people out there, if anyone has any questions or comments, participate in the chat. Let us know. We've got the god of video games here who can answer any questions. The god of syphilis. Yeah, if you have any STD questions, STI questions,
STDs.
Or orgy questions, because my next question relates to Sean Baichu, who told us that he was directed by you. Performing in an orgy scene in that game. Yeah,
well, I think Sean did every single actor's physical part for the orgy.
Yeah, and you directed
So he
that.
literally fucked himself repeatedly. And then we had other actors come in and do all the voice work for that would then be stuck to the animation. So we had people coming in and I would just put them in the booth and explain to them that we're about to have a satanic orgy. And that the orgy scene needs to be about 7 minutes in length.
So they literally had to imagine themselves being in a 7-minute satanic orgy.
Yeah.
So you could loop things, right?
We could, yeah, we can. I mean, it's just, for us, it's just easier if we can get a clean take. And then really during that 7 minutes, we're selecting little chunks of it that we like. Mm-hmm. Some of it just wasn't usable. There were a lot of giggles.
Right.
And from what I know about satanic orgies, giggling is... It's quite the faux pas.
Well, I mean, if you add the syphilis in, then you're really in a bad shape.
The smell of sulfur. You can't giggle and inhale sulfur. That's science.
Was that a challenge for you?
Not for me.
No. Well, but as a director.
It's more of a challenge for the actors. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Because it's even more awkward because it's one person at a time. And it's like, hey, come in and do the worst version of the noises you make when you're having sex. Like, share something very deep and dark about yourself. And then it's like, and now make it filthier. Make it darker. I want there to be more pain involved.
Did you go home and explain to your loved ones what your day was like that day?
No, because I never do. Because I'm usually under NDAs. So it's just like, how was your day? I go, interesting.
You can't even tell your closest
I don't tell
family?
anyone what I'm doing at the time. It's just easier. You
So
don't have to try and keep track of who knows what or who might talk to who. It's just,
So I guess we won't ask you what you're working on right now.
oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Then let's do some trivia.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do here. Oh, wait, we have a question. Rampant syphilis, says Mythidiel, sounds like a Cannibal Corpse cover band. That, actually, fantastic idea. Speaking of which, I recently reviewed, what was the name of the movie? Lords of Chaos. Speaking of Cannibal Corpse, and I don't know if you're into true Norwegian black metal, but if you are, you should check out Lords of Chaos.
Only the true Norwegian.
No, not the fake Norwegian
Not
black
those
metal.
Finns. With their bullshit metal.
They have some pretty good metal there, too.
Do they?
Yeah. Have you seen their...
about the Swedes?
Even like mouthwash commercials have black metal in them.
Well, really, it makes sense for mouthwash.
Exactly.
Because the stuff they're doing with their throat, it's got to leave an odor.
Okay, trivia. Here we go.
Okay.
So, yes, but keep the questions coming. Right now, our screen is off, so we don't know if the questions are coming in. Are we out, or are people still... Okay, so this is a game I like to call tagline trivia.
Sorry, I'm just going to put my mic back on.
No worries. On your awesome...
It's my Game of Thrones Donkey Kong shirt.
Donkey Kong... So, wait. Is there... Oh, so who's at the top? Oh, we have...
It's Jon Snow.
Yeah? That is amazing. All right.
Who's proclaiming I know nothing.
Well, exactly.
It's that clever kind of writing that made me attracted to the T-shirt. It's just direct quotes.
With the remote, yeah. Hey guys, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a tagline. You have to see if you can guess what movie it's from.
Oh,
Are you a
God.
movie buff?
I am, but my memory is
No, it's not about memory. It's just about figuring out. Okay.
kind of a syphilis.
Earth, take a good look. It could be your last. So you know it's science fiction.
See, I was going to go with the Al Gore.
Oh, that could have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
See, inconvenient truth.
Earth, take a... And I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
The star of this movie is going to come up several times over the course of our conversation today. We even talked about him before. And you guys wouldn't know who I'm talking about, but...
Is it TC?
Yeah,
TC's in it?
No, WS.
WS.
Yeah. What? Okay.
This is great viewing. Just looking at me going.
All right, Earth, take a good look. It could be your last. The world is
World's
in
about to
danger.
die. Again, that could be Oblivion.
Independence Day. But it could have been any of those apocalyptic.
Oh, the new Independence Day. That doesn't count.
No, it was the
The
original.
original? That doesn't
Yeah.
count.
Why not?
Because I didn't remember it.
Okay,
We should
there
be talking
you
about
go.
the new one, because the new one was written by two Montrealers.
That's true.
So,
yeah, that's right.
No.
Okay.
Their names I know.
This one I think you're
Name
going to
of the
get.
film.
An adventure 65 million years in the making.
Jurassic Park.
There you go. Easy, right? Reality is a thing of the past.
That could be my life.
That could be your life. This is a very iconic movie in the vein of cyberpunk, I guess.
You're going The Matrix.
Yes. There you go. Okay. Protecting Earth from the scum of the universe.
Men in Black.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about him quite a bit.
I'm getting a little fixated right now.
I don't think you're going to get this one in a million years. So
Excellent.
Yeah. From the brother of the director of Ghost.
From the brother of the director of Ghost.
Yeah. And I'll give you a hint. It's,
Sister Act.
Oh, great movie. No, Naked Gun 33 and a half, The Final Insult.
Oh, the final insult. That was the best of the series.
If Nancy...
Leslie Nielsen was on fire in his late 80s.
Oh, I love Leslie Nielsen.
That's when his comedy was really cutting edge.
You don't fuck with Leslie. Come on. I mean,
No, not at that age.
Well, what year was that? That was 94? Okay, fair enough. If Nancy
He was old
doesn't-
when he started.
What, was he? Well,
He felt
police-
like his first movie in the 60s, he was already 112.
I guess that's true. But
Just
I
one of
mean,
those
think about
guys.
Airplane. He was in Airplane.
He was in
wasn't
Airplane, yeah.
Airplane, fantastic movie. Okay, if
But
Nancy
again,
doesn't
he
wake
looked like he
up...
was 112 in that. The white hair, the captain.
Exactly.
Don't call me Charlie.
Right, exactly. But there was
Wasn't
someone
it him
else.
and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the two pints?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
There you go. Which A-list celebrity got his start in that movie?
A-list celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Anybody in the room know? Anybody in the chat know? I'm going to save that. If you know which A-list, like heartthrob, like big 80s, 90s, and even active now as a heartthrob.
Johnny Depp.
There you go. Yeah, he was one of the guys who got
Thought
killed.
it was. It's in my back of my head there.
Works.
So I just ruined it for the chat room. Haha, suckers.
But if you have questions for Simon,
Gotta be
okay.
faster.
Work sucks.
Office Space.
Very good. All right, doing well. The first casualty of war is innocence.
Oh, I thought it was the truth. Full Metal Jacket.
Basically, but platoon. But
But they're the same damn movie.
exactly.
Let's be honest. One's just better.
They're back.
Challenge me on that one.
What's that?
Sorry, no, nothing. They're back. What's the on there here, which was Poltergeist 2.
Yeah, right on. Poltergeist 2.
Ghostbusters.
The other side.
The other side.
Right. This is a good one. A classic story about a boy and his mother.
Oedipus.
Which
It's the
itself-
oldest story of a boy.
Right, which was turned into a horror. Very iconic
Halloween.
movie. No, it could be.
Jason.
Classic story about a boy and his mother.
Classic boy about a boy and his mother. Dumbo.
No,
Key element of Dumbo.
that is, and I'm kind of excited about the new Dumbo, which we could talk about. I'll give you a Norman.
Oh, Psycho.
There you go. We will come back to this because this is always fun. But in the meantime, I would like to talk about some of your favorite movies. And you had mentioned Top Gun is a favorite of yours.
Underappreciated classic.
And so I think we should have a look at your favorite scene from Top Gun, and then maybe you could comment about what it is about the scene that you love so much.
I don't know, it's frightening that you asked me, what's one scene? This is the first one that popped into my head.
Absolutely. Let's roll the clip and tell me whatever you want to say as it's rolling.
It's the genius of Tony Scott. I mean, look at that establishing shot there. Everything you need right there.
Let's go! Okay, I do.
The subtle underplay of the plot there with Tom Cruise looking at his watch. You'll understand that later in the scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of particular interest to me is Anthony Edwards' wardrobe.
He is wearing, what's on his shirt?
He's wearing a shirt. Does that not seem peculiar?
I guess so,
in
unless it
this
was
setup?
shirts and skins, but no.
Because Tom's got his shirt off. So basically, it's a scene where Anthony didn't do the gym work required for
exactly.
the character, right? So
Well,
that's why I enjoy this.
Who's the third?
You got Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
That guy no one cares about.
Yeah, who's
Whoever
the other
he is.
guy?
The steroids killed him 3 weeks later.
Okay.
And also, look at Tom Cruise here.
That's not Val? No,
That's Val.
Yeah.
That is peak Val Kilmer right there.
Yeah, he kind of. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah.
I mean,
You can see him from space lately. That's unnecessarily harsh body shaming.
all right, tell me more. Why do you love this scene so much?
Look at Tom Cruise here. He has not aged. This is proof of it. This, I believe, was 1986.
This is, yeah.
No signs of aging him whatsoever. So maybe Scientology's right. Have we thought about that long term? No, because John Travolta proves it to be a lie.
Exactly.
No, what I like about this scene is it's so out of place for the rest of this movie, right? This is the U.S. military's most effective
the watch
recruiting
check.
tool in history, right? Recruitment has never gone up more without a war than it did after Top Gun came out.
Okay, but
Yet in
now
the
sometimes
middle-
I'm not sure when you're kidding or not.
No,
is
I'm
that
not
an
kidding.
actual
That's
fact?
an actual fact. Yet in the middle of the scene, they put in one of the all-time greatest homoerotic scenes ever. So what is that? And this is right in the midst of the whole no, don't ask, don't tell, no gays in the military thing as well. So it's kind of mixed messages being sent out
Interesting.
there.
And there's Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins.
Because, everybody remembers Danger Zone. but
Danger Zone.
What's the name of that song?
Playing with the boys.
Well, there you go.
I rest my case.
Interesting, yeah.
So what the hell is going on in Tony Scott's vivid mind there?
Well, they are filming Top Gun 2.
They are.
What the hell? Well, give me your thoughts. Give me Simon Peacock's take on Top Gun 2. And your takes on Top Gun
I think
2.
a large part of it is the U.S. Navy recruitment obviously needs a little boost again.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise has wanted to do it again since that one, apparently.
Yeah.
He's pushing hard for it because he likes dangerous things, right? There's nothing more dangerous than being strapped to 2,000
Is he going to
tons of
fly the plane
jet
this
fuel.
time?
He'll be in the plane. I mean,
Yeah.
they were in the planes for some of those scenes.
In the
right?
first one? Well, we know that he does
own
as much as,
stunts,
I saw the most recent Mission Impossible, and I mean, I don't know where you stand. Look, I'll just say it outright. I hate Tom Cruise. I fucking hate Tom Cruise.
It'll never work again.
Except there are 3 roles.
Okay.
Wait, is it 3? Or at least 2 I can think of where I loved him, and it's because he played a fucking dick. Magnolia was
great in Magnolia.
the perfect role for Tom Cruise, and maybe also Tropic Thunder. You know, when he is a Class A asshole, I'm all in.
Which is seemingly the real Tom
Exactly.
from his appearances.
And it's nice to know that he can actually take the piss, you know, and be self-aware. But I don't know how self-aware. You know, how self-aware do you think he is?
I don't think he is. I don't think you can be with Scientology, right?
No, eh? Yeah, I guess. Oh, that's why you're saying I'll never work in this town again.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why Scientology has banned psychology, right?
They've banned psychology?
Yeah, that's their big thing. You can't see a psychologist or a psychiatrist in any way, shape, or form once you're part of the church. In Los Angeles, they have the Museum of Psychiatry, which is run by the Scientology church, and is basically telling you all the evils of psychiatry and any modern, medication for mental illnesses. Because let's face it, if you're a Scientologist, you probably have a mental illness.
Well, I once went.
I'm so going to get hunted down in the middle of the night by a black van with Tom Cruise and John Travolta. They'll take me away to the little house with the boys if the rumors are true. I'm saying way too much.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
These are the rumors. I've been online.
Why don't we go to a comment?
Please.
Methodiel says Tom Cruise not aging can be attributed just as easily to formaldehyde.
Could well be.
Yeah, that's true.
Those injections.
Right. So one time I was
Subcutaneous formaldehyde.
cutaneous.
Subcutaneous.
Okay, that must be a video game term.
No, it's a medical term. I'm just kidding. Subcutaneous video games are the future.
Right. Yeah,
play them
AI
beneath
and
your own skin.
self-contagious. I was in your neck of the woods many moons ago. I was in Australia, not New Zealand, but that part of the world.
Fighting words.
And I was really bored that day, and I ended up every day on my walk to where I was working, there was a Scientology. No, it wasn't even Scientology. It was just a place that said free personality test.
Oh no, the Scientology.
Yeah, and so I knew it was Scientology because I had done a project about it in university, and I decided I was going to go and just fuck with them. And
Take the test.
I did the test, and they
Held
gave
up the
me
little electrodes.
Yeah, the tin cans hooked up to the electrode machine.
I mean, it's science.
And they fully went to town, and they told me how much of the Thanos, is that? Yeah.
The infection from the aliens, their DNA.
Thanos?
Something like that.
No, that's the.
No, that's-
Yeah, exactly. What's
It's the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But what if Scientology and Marvel are one and the same?
Well, listen. Why don't we move on to Marvel? Why don't we talk about the controversy of Captain Marvel? Have you seen Captain Marvel?
I have not.
Are you going to see Captain Marvel?
I probably will.
Are you a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I'm all right with them.
Okay, where do you think they went right and where do you think they went wrong?
I think they went right with going full-on, all-in blockbuster, generally. I think they do a much better job of the job, so they also do a much better job of character development than I think has been done by, say, DC. We don't have to see an origin story every single fucking movie with Marvel,
we're seeing
which
a lot
is
of
nice.
them.
We have seen a lot, but
Yeah.
at least you only see it once for each character, generally.
Unless it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there? So much for that argument.
But he's not technically the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
No,
right? Yeah.
because there are rules.
And you must follow them.
You must.
Yeah, the trains have to leave on time.
Until you don't have to anymore. Yeah, so I think they've done that sort of thing of it right. They put a bit more story and sort of the fact that they built the universe as well, I think, is really important. Like all the movies interconnect, so there's a thread that runs through them all, which is nice. They're not just one-offs. But what gets me about them sometimes is they've become somewhat formulaic.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Marvel. That's about superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
Like they're all pretty predictable, paint by numbers, this is what's going to happen. Oh, he has an incredible power, but at some point we'll learn what the weakness to that incredible power is in some contrived artificial manner. Like once you've seen Superman fly backwards around the earth and turn back time.
And that was the 80s.
How is there ever another problem Superman can't fix? It's like, dude.
Right, that's true.
Hey,
that was
remember
Superman
time you
2.
and me? Yeah.
And so then there was Superman 3 and 4. So yeah, I guess you're right.
It's like, we're done.
Yeah.
There's never a problem again. Just get back up and do that thing again. So you can't watch another Superman movie. It's like, well, this is all stupid. What did he forget? Is he an idiot?
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell, Superman? Hey, Soup, remember that time?
No, I don't.
Maybe
but
you don't
I'll-
because you went back in time and now
Exactly.
we've forgotten, but you should remember. Somebody has to remember that. Like,
So
make a note, like a post-it afterwards to himself. Turn back time, fly around Earth, stick it on the fridge. Next time something bad happens, you're getting the milk. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, yes.
But he's Superman. He
Reverse
doesn't need a
time.
fridge. Does Superman need a fridge? Does he eat? Does
Yeah, I mean,
Superman
food
eat?
still goes bad, right?
Yeah, that's true. But does Superman need to eat?
Have we ever seen him eat?
Anyone?
People out there?
Has Superman
Does
ever
Superman
eaten?
eat?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And why is Earth food okay for him?
Right.
But space rocks aren't.
So I saw
Rules, arbitrary rules.
Absolutely, yeah. And I saw Captain Marvel. I reviewed it last time, and I realized that one thing I neglected to mention, which is like the most obvious, important thing that everyone mentions, is this is the first female-led Marvel movie, and the reviews. It's I think it broke records again. It's now the highest-grossing opening weekend of all time, and people are loving it. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I thought it fell into the trap that it was very formulaic. Brie Larson did a good job, but I actually find in this one particular case, DC got the female superhero movie better than
Wonder Woman more.
I thought Wonder Woman was a better movie. It might have been the music, it might have been the look, but there was something that I found, or maybe Gal Gadot, which I love to say that name with an Israeli.
It's worth it right there.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah. But I don't understand this controversy that's happening right now where all these fanboys are like decrying, the campaigns to tank the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes because it's a female-led superhero, or because she said that she wanted to have more diverse representation in reviews. Yeah. What the hell is going on?
I don't know when we all became so threatened by such things. It's like, what impact does it have on your life? Like, even if you don't like it, which already makes you a terrible person, but let's say you don't like it, then don't see it.
Right.
Problem solved. It's like when people get upset about the Ghostbusters with a female cast and they're like, it's going to ruin my childhood. It's like, really? Do they have the same power as Superman? Because they're not going back in fucking time and ruining your child. You're ruining your own childhood by projecting backwards on it. It's like, no, it's a different movie. It's not the same thing.
But then, so why for Captain Marvel and not for Wonder Woman?
Well, there was some for Wonder Woman.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay, or maybe it's just ramping up. So
it's ramping up.
Then Black Panther got some, and now so.
Where you really see it though is when there's a role that was perhaps originally conceived as being male,
right?
And then they flip it because it's not the 1800s anymore.
Any examples you can think of?
Well, Ghostbusters that I just spoke about.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. Like the outrage over that was ridiculous, right?
That's the Ghostbusters.
Ran Leslie Jones off Twitter at one point.
Is she back on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
She came back and owned them.
Yeah, that's right.
She has skills they do not.
Are you very active on Twitter, by the way?
No.
No. Any social media that you're?
Not really, just because, like I said, I can't talk to anybody about what I'm doing at the time.
That's right, yeah.
So, retroactive Instagram posts aren't huge. Hey, here's that thing I did in 2016.
Well, you get to come on
play
depth of field,
Come
right?
play it, yeah. Come on here and not talk about anything. Hence syphilis and Superman flying backwards.
Wait, I saw a comment and now it's gone.
Yeah, it was about...
John Verl saying... saying maybe Superman heard if I could turn back time and decided that he shouldn't have the power. Cher deserved it more. That's a good point.
That's a good point. But does Cher have the power?
Well, if you believe in life after love, then she clearly does. Let's stick on the Marvel thing and go to one of my favorite Marvel movies. By the way, was Thor Ragnarok.
Leto.
And that's Taika Waititi, New Zealand director, who now they are saying is going to be rebooting or remaking Time Bandits, the Terry Gilliam film, into a TV series. First of all, your thoughts on that and Taika in general. As a Kiwi, are you extremely proud? Do you think he's overrated?
No, I'm very proud of Taika Waititi. I think he's been great. I love his movies, especially as a New Zealander who no longer lives in New Zealand, because it's very much the sense of humor I grew up with, that sort of self-deprecating, slightly cutting the bigger characters down to size a little bit. It's very much the New Zealand way. It's sort of slightly subversive. We're a lonely, isolated country. It's all we have is making fun of our neighbors. Australia, whatever. And then as a filmmaker, he's had a really interesting career. The movies he's made and the projects he's worked on have all been quite different from one another. They've always had an underlying sense of humor to them, but they've also always had a heart to them, which I think can be a difficult thing to do, especially something like Thor. Bringing a heart to that.
And it did have heart. It was, and I think, you can probably give a lot of credit to the treatment of the Hulk and Mark Ruffalo in that as well.
Absolutely.
But and Korg, I think, is probably my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe character of all time. He was so quintessential, right?
Yeah.
Quintessential Kiwi.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's funny to see that in a character in the Marvel Universe. It's like, oh my God, it's a Kiwi. What the hell is he doing?
He should have his own standalone movie.
He could.
In the comics, I don't know if anybody... Was Korg like a thing in the comics? Anybody? What? Korg, the thing
No
that looked
help.
like the blue thing, like the thing in Fantastic Four, but blue made out of boulders in Thor Ragnarok? Okay, if any of you guys know,
Someone will know.
I'd be curious if Korg, because that would be a great stand.
And the way he wrote it too, I heard about from an interview talking about he kept all the jokes away from the studio.
Really?
He sent them a different script without most of the jokes in it. So then when they'd show up for shooting days, it'd just be like, all right, here's the extra script.
Come on.
Inserted some humor in it because he knew that most of it, because you're dealing with the studio, you're dealing with subjective opinions about humor. You're going to have 43 people look at that script and all want to give their feedback, so all the jokes are going to get killed.
Yeah.
So he just didn't give them the jokes.
Oh, man.
So on set,
And
it's like,
was the studio pissed?
But he made a lot of money.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you got to have balls to do that.
You do.
Yeah.
So I think
Big
it'd be-
kiwi balls.
Big kiwi balls, like a pair of kiwis. Yes, so Korg is
Yeah.
a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by writer Greg Pak and artist Carlo Pagula.
So he first appeared in the Incredible Hulk Volume 2, number 93. That's
what I was gonna
during
say.
the Planet Hulk storyline. I say we should rally behind getting Korg his own movie.
We should
Yeah.
spin-off.
And so what do you think about Time Bandits?
I think it's a really interesting choice. I like it
the
comes from a-
choice. You mean that Taika
Taika
Waititi
will be
is
doing
choosing
Time Bandits,
Not that
'cause-
Time Bandits have chosen Taika Waititi.
Well, who chose who? Do
That's
we know?
a good question.
Do we know who made that decision? But from Taika, I think it's interesting because he has a completely different sensibility and a completely different aesthetic than Terry Gilliam does. So it's not someone that's just going to do an updated version of it,
Which is
which is
for
a
the
much
best.
more interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
And like I say, I have faith in him bringing heart to it. And all the projects he's done so far, you can tell he's really passionate about it. He's not a guy that's just directing stuff for the paycheck. So I think he'll
But
do
this
a
is
really
going to
good
be on
job.
TV too, right?
Yeah.
So and he does have experience with Flight of the Conchords.
Yep. And the new series, What We Do in the Shadows.
Has that started yet?
No, it starts I think in 2 weeks.
Man, am I
March
excited about
27th, somewhere like that.
Yeah. The vampire mockumentary.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
With Matt Berry.
With Matt Berry?
You don't know Matt Berry?
Who's Matt Berry?
Toast of London. It's
Yeah.
this incredible show. You can find
No, I
it
haven't seen
all
this.
online where he plays a British voiceover actor.
Oh, well.
And he's very peculiar, and he's very funny, and it's very strange. So I'm just looking forward to him being in anything, basically.
Okay, good. Tell me about some of your other favorite performers, actors, films. What makes up the Simon Peacock canon?
I like versatility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably my favorite actor of the last 10 years would be Olivia Colman. And she's just getting the recognition for it now, right?
Right, because I don't want to sound stupid. I'm trying to play.
She just got the Oscar.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for,
yeah.
for the favorite. But if you go back, like she's done comedy, a really broad, bizarre British comedy, there's a hospital comedy called The Green Wing. She's in Hot Fuzz. She plays the sex-obsessed PC.
Oh, right,
there,
okay.
The constable. She's in Fleabag, which is a great show. She's all over the place in comedies, and then you see her in a show like Broadchurch,
Right.
where she can just break your heart, and it's just it's incredible. Her flexibility is great, and she had a career that she could never have had as an American actor.
In what way? In the fact that she's not like a young.
She's not Charlize
bombshell,
Theron or
right.
all the classic Hollywood actors.
Okay.
She looks like a normal human being.
Who else?
Who else looks like a normal human being? I've always felt like Gary Oldman,
Oh yes.
always up there.
So back in the day, many moons ago, I used to have long dreadlocks, and people on a regular basis used to stop me and said, "Hey man, you look just like Drexel." That actually was the greatest compliment that I ever got.
Because you want to be a drug dealer.
But he was the coolest. Come on,
He was.
as
He was-
movie
I know, he was an
characters
incredible
go,
character.
yeah, it doesn't get cooler than that.
He's also great. Professional. He's great in everything. There's a scene in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It's not a great movie, but there's a scene where it's just Gary Oldman at a desk for like 3 minutes doing paperwork. And it's riveting.
Really?
It's great. It's incredible stuff.
It kind of makes me think in some ways also of Tom Hardy, that, if a guy can sit in a car, if the entire movie can take place just him sitting in the car and he makes it interesting.
They got something happening there.
Yeah. Gary Oldman, speaking of Gary Oldman, has said that he wants to star in a superhero movie.
Has he?
Could you imagine him? Is there a particular
Well,
character?
he's already played Sheriff, Chief Gordon, right?
Oh, that's true. Oh, sorry, then in a Marvel movie, I
In
think.
Marvel, or is he allowed to do both?
Yeah, a lot of them do.
DC and Marvel? It seems like that shouldn't be allowed.
I agree, but...
Just saying. If I'm a god, I have that power, don't I? No!
I want...
We'll get Superman to fly backwards around the world, then he'll never be in the Batman films, then he can do Marvel.
I like that
See?
idea, yeah.
It's so simple. It solves every problem.
You know what? I never thought of how ridiculous it is that anything could ever happen after that.
Right.
Yeah.
You've just solved everything.
Do you have a favorite Superman? Oh, and then we'll get to, do you have a favorite Batman?
Oh, okay. Favorite Superman? Don't think I do.
No? Yeah, I mean, Christopher Reeves isn't the easiest.
It's the easiest, but didn't end up so well for him.
It wasn't the role.
Wasn't it?
It was the horse.
The Curse of Superman.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay, what about Batman?
Batman, I'm going Michael Keaton.
Okay, fair enough. Not Val Kilmer?
That wasn't the worst.
Yeah, okay. So who was the worst?
That's Clooney.
Maybe.
But that wasn't his fault necessarily. I think that's Schumacher's fault, because that was just a mess of a film.
Did you like sad Affleck?
He has his moments, though, you know? There's something about it which almost works for that character.
Oh,
I'm not saying he's the best.
I didn't buy it
I don't
at
think
all.
he's the worst.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. What are we thinking about, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker. Is it? It is Joaquin playing the Joker.
Joaquin. I don't know. It might. I mean, it feels like now they're reaching for actors that already have a reputation for being crazy, which is less interesting than watching an actor become crazy.
So who would you like to see play the Joker?
Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah, but he has a reputation for being crazy. You're contradicting yourself. So.
I'm allowed to do that. I'm God. The Bible's full of contradictions. Let's not start that conversation. Who would be the Joker? Certainly not Jared Leto.
No. Although I think he got short. This is a hot take. I think he got shortchanged. I don't think he was. I think it could have been interesting what he did, but the editing in that movie was just
nothing else in that movie to support anything. So
right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
That was awful.
It's a horrible film. Will Smith again.
Elizabeth Neal says Olivia Colman as to play the Joker. Yes. I love it.
She could do it. I have
yes.
no doubt whatsoever. And then imagine the outrage online.
We should do
not
it
just a woman, but a British woman.
Hey,
Joker is not British.
Speaking of
racists,
online outrage.
Yes.
Shall we do? Okay.
Should we do something to provoke some online?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's see the trailer. Sometimes I like to watch new trailers. I want to see. I think, guys, we're going to go with Aladdin because there was a lot of outrage on the first one. When I think one of my favorite comments is that he was basically like, what's his name? Fionki. Tobias Fionki in the Blue Man Group. Right.
And he was.
And so now they've released a full-length trailer, and some people are saying it's not so bad. I think...
Well, that's the whole reason for this trailer, though, right?
This
came out very quickly to try and put that fire out. No, look. First frame of the trailer is Will Smith without the blue on.
That's
look, no, it's going to be fine. Trust us.
What do you think? Should we watch it picture-in-picture and comment on it?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. All right.
I know you guys have been waiting, and here's the very first trailer for Aladdin. Here's the very first trailer. Don't get dizzy, though. Don't get dizzy before we start the trailer. Don't get dizzy. Oh.
And then he's got the Dothraki beard. That's derivative.
So I think what a lot of people are saying is, what's interesting here is the, it's the costumes and the colors, the dynamic looks, but ultimately, this is supposed to be about action to some extent.
Yeah. Well, they always sort of handcuff themselves a bit when they're doing the animated feature becomes live action, right?
Right.
Because everyone remembers how colorful and striking the animation was.
Who and apparently people
that's a Lawrence of Arabia ripoff.
Yeah, absolutely. And people aren't happy with Jafar, although they love Jasmine's costume.
I mean, we should be thankful it's not Emma Stone. Or Scarlett Johansson. Those are the two.
Well, wasn't it? Were there people who were originally cast who it was changed to?
I don't know.
Okay.
That would be interesting to find out.
And then here's Tobias Fionki.
Real monkey or CGI monkey?
Well, you would probably know better than I. What do you think?
I think it's been both. That's the CGI.
That was CGI.
That answered that question pretty quickly. Well, that's a really talented monkey. Real magic carpet or CGI magic carpet?
Good question. It depends. Is Superman involved?
I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
You look like a prince on the outside.
It's looking pretty Bollywoodish, actually. It is. Yeah.
Showtime.
No, I'm in charge, okay? I say when it's time.
Oh, good cutesy magic.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I thought a princess...
I mean, I might not be the right target audience for this.
No, I'm not the target audience for this.
Trust me.
So long as they start singing everything we find.
Right, well, I think your wish is her command.
Oh, great. Let's bring that song back.
Are there any musicals that you like?
Purple Rain. It's the only good musical ever made.
I can't do musicals.
No, I
can't.
hate them.
Nothing about it. If they all of a sudden break into songs, no.
The
Exactly.
type of music is usually horrific.
Yeah.
They're like a hate crime to me.
Okay, so
That may be strong.
I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Is anybody out there excited to see Aladdin? Have we?
Anyway,
are we
someone
so
must be excited
cynical
about
that
it.
we've just
Otherwise,
turned
why are
everybody
they
off?
spending all this money on it?
But then again, Dumbo, I think might be interesting.
Well, because they tied it to Tim Burton, so they've got a director who can do that sort of whimsical thing, right? And has his own aesthetic. So it's
And
not just trying to slavishly copy a cartoon.
well, and this may not be, people may not agree with me, but one of my favorite Tim Burton movies was Big Fish.
Oh, I hated Big Fish.
Did you?
I hated it.
Let's fight.
Let's do it.
What did you hate about Big Fish?
From
What did you possibly
From
talk
what I
about?
remember,
Heart.
Pretty much everything.
Really?
I found it just obscenely emotionally manipulative.
Yeah,
But then my favorite comedy is Dancer in the Dark, so there you go.
Okay, fair enough.
I've had this argument a lot. The Dancer in the Dark is a comedy.
Did they do like one of those trailer
No,
here's Dancer in the Dark?
I mean,
is
the
coming?
way it is. It's because Lars von Trier made it as a parody of the emotionally manipulative American film.
Again, I'm never sure if you're kidding or not.
I'm not, which is why it's just you're constantly getting worse and worse and worse things happening to it, right?
Are you serious?
You're gonna have to sell this to keep your child alive. Only one of you can keep your vision. You'll go blind. Oh no, now you're being attacked. And now we're gonna, spoiler alert, we're gonna hang you.
Is this really spoiler alert? But is that like is that true fact?
That's
or?
the starting point von Trier had going into it.
Oh my god!
It's very debatable whether or not that's what the movie is that came out of it.
Yeah.
I've sat with people that have had to leave because they found it so depressing.
Yeah. Well, that
First
or
time I
Breaking
watched
the
it, I
Waves.
found it very depressing. Second time I watched it, having heard about what von Trier's ideal behind it was, then I found it amusing.
Interesting.
Because
Okay.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Big Fish kind of felt that way to me. It's like, you will feel this now. It's like later era Spielberg, same thing. Here's the emotion. Did you get it yet?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
Okay.
Let's crank it up.
But okay, so I saw that came
Let's
out
get
around
Danny
the
Elfman
same
to
time.
provide some sappy music now.
Fair enough. And what's his name? Short guy. Danny DeVito. I didn't love
Short guy.
I didn't love Danny DeVito in there, but I bought it. And that came out around the same time as I think it was the same season even as Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Which I much prefer.
Okay, good. At least we agree on that.
Gondry I like.
Yes,
Gondry's still doing interesting and creative things.
absolutely.
Challenging himself and giving himself restrictions as a filmmaker.
Well, I think that's always been the reason he's so successful is that instead of, if you have someone leaving the frame on this side and he has to come in on that side, well, the guy's going to have to walk
gonna
around the
force it
set.
around, yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I've always appreciated
Yeah,
that.
it's all
about him.
in-camera effects as
Yeah.
opposed to,
Did you watch Kidding, the TV show that he did?
Didn't see the
Okay, me neither. Anyway, if you guys have anything to say about it,
It's showtime. No, it's showtime.
let's talk about Bohemian Rhapsody.
That was our fight. Our fight is over.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, okay, no, it's
Fight you, and there's like,
I need support. I need to because it's been
Oh,
so
I know
long
lots,
since.
lots of people love that film.
Yeah, but now I
Anyone
feel like
with
a
a
real
father issue loves that film.
with a father issue, eh? Well, I did mention on my last.
Get on well with your father?
No. I have no father issues. I have no problems.
I have no father.
No, I love my dad. Hi, Dad. And I love my son. Hi, Louie. Yeah, no, fight's over. Let's go on to Bohemian Rhapsody.
All right.
Because I know you hate sequels, but guess what? They're talking about doing a Bohemian Rhapsody 2.
What is it? It's the making of?
It's,
You see behind the scenes where everything was a lie.
I don't know how real that rumor is, but the internet was abuzz yesterday about
Well, it's
Bohemian.
all about will it make money, and it will, so
Yeah.
it's quite possible.
But you did or didn't see the first
I did
one?
not see it. I refused to see it.
You refused to see it. Explain.
Moral stance
Mm-hmm.
behind it. I read some very interesting pieces, some of which were written by friends
In emails to you.
from the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
talking about the portrayal of their community in the
Yes,
film, which
yeah.
I found extremely problematic, especially once it was explained by someone that's lived that reality.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was Sacha Baron Cohen when
That's
he
my-
left the film, and he's basically said that he got out because Queen themselves were too involved and were controlling what could and couldn't be on screen.
Exactly.
Right?
And how good would the Sacha Baron Cohen version
That
have
would
been?
be it. There.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see some dirt. We're gonna
Well,
see
maybe
some
that's part two,
reality,
right?
Yeah. And then it's just, I also have a problem with any biopic where they completely change the timeline
Right.
of events.
hence them breaking up before
Get
Live
together the
Aid.
day of Live Aid.
Right,
Going to get her and take, all that stuff on the day of Live Aid. Sure, that's what Freddie was doing that day. Yeah. That's what you do before the biggest gig of your life. You know what I should do? I should go find my boyfriend and tell him how I really feel. Then when he's in the world of the straight people, everything's much better. When he goes into the gay community, everything gets dark and nasty. That kind of stuff is a little...
I was very disappointed, actually. I was very excited. I'm a huge Sacha Baron Cohen fan. So when he left, citing those creative differences, I was like, oh, no. And
also, we've kind of forgotten Bryan Singer's role in all of it, too.
yeah,
right?
exactly. Because
That's
he
been
basically
forgiven.
directed right up until the end.
Yeah.
Who I don't even know who directed.
it?
Yeah,
No
exactly.
idea.
Who gave the
No
happy
idea.
ending.
But you notice there were no shout-outs to Bryan Singer at the awards.
No, that's true, eh? But I mean,
Brian.
it could have been so interesting if only Queen had taken a back seat and had
Yeah.
not been involved in it.
exactly.
So I don't think what you did miss was the grandiosity of that final scene, the live it. But you can just
Yeah, you can just watch that scene.
yeah, exactly.
But do you know what I prefer to do?
What?
Watch the real.
No, that's what I mean.
Freddie
Is that
Mercury.
you could really
Because you can actually see online, they shot the entire concert, apparently, with rain.
really.
Yeah, so you can also watch that online.
Well, what I like is that they have split screen. Like some people have done split
Yeah.
screens, which I find very interesting. So they did well with that. But Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, what's the story going to be? Right? I guess. Well, no. Okay, I'll tell you.
Freddie writes 3 more songs that occur to him because somebody just said something that reminds him of the title. Yay! That's how songs are written. We make them up on the spot.
Well, that was my big problem with the movie. In addition to everything else,
Yep.
was at one point.
In addition to everything else.
My one problem with the movie, in addition, they're sitting around and they're like a young band trying to make it, and then montage, and then all of a sudden they're the biggest band in the world.
Yeah.
And what I, as a musician, wanted to understand is, what was that process like?
the struggle?
And they just glossed over that. They glossed over him, his struggles with his private life and being gay and not wanting to come out of the closet. So everything that was really truly
That
interesting.
may be problematic to a broad audience, right?
Yeah, but
And the songs, you can keep selling the songs and soundtracks.
yeah.
Not
Well,
that I'm
I don't
cynical
know.
about this.
Did any thoughts on Bohemian Rhapsody 2? Let us know. I would now like to talk about. Let's go back to Will Smith, because someone put a very interesting thing online. This
Also a Scientologist.
but that's true. You ever see After Earth?
Yeah.
Oh God, that really might have been one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not an enjoyable bad movie either.
No, exactly.
I think I can forgive a bad movie if it's
Ooh,
enjoyable.
well, that's fun. What's your favorite
The
bad
Room.
movie? Which one?
The Room,
Yeah, okay, but that's. I mean, at
That's
this
a
point,
classic.
it's beyond.
Top Gun.
Fair enough.
Top Gun.
Well, Tony Scott is a fantastic. I mean, my favorite movie, my 2 favorite movies of all time. Here we go. 3. Okay, I'll give you 3. True
You must
Romance.
love them.
Yeah, True Romance, which we talked about before.
Great
Dazed and Confused.
Also a great film because Quentin didn't direct it,
No, he wrote it,
Yeah.
which was great.
which meant it had someone that knew how to edit
Right.
doing it. So it was down to an hour and a half as opposed to 3.5 hours like everything he's done since.
What? So the most recent ones
Trivia
were.
movies.
There was Magnificent.
Magnificent Eight, which
Eight.
goes on forever.
Didn't see.
Inglourious Bastards, which is
That
good,
was fun. I
Still a
like
little
that.
long. Even
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, I would argue, could lose 45 minutes and
I
be an
agree.
even better film.
And my problem when Tarantino was
Because I
directing.
know better than Tarantino.
Well, you might.
We're those guys. So you know what he should have done?
Well, listen, was Tarantino in Tales of the Never-Ending Story?
No.
No, you were.
More Tales from the Never-Ending.
Oh, sorry, more Tales from the Never-Ending Story. Was Quentin Tarantino in Stardom?
No.
No, I was. You were.
We were both in that.
Yeah. Apparently, we were in the same scene of a movie, 15 years ago, and had no idea.
Yeah, something like that.
But wait, so Will Smith, someone put a trailer online today of it's a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, done a little bit dark. I guess kind of like what they're doing with Riverdale and some of these, revisiting our youth. So let's have a look at this, and we'll come back and talk about if this should be made one day. If this is the right one. Oh, yeah.
Bel-Air, a story of a kid from Philly whose life got turned upside down. In 2019, a fan-made trailer for a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot places the TV show in 2019 and turns things gritty. Bel-Air, created by Sun Squared Media, Reimagin's will, originally...
Did you direct this voice actor?
If I did, I think that would be the end of my career. That was awesome.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can find it again. In the meantime...
Let's go no commentary.
Why don't I do why don't I review Apollo 11?
Do it.
Huh? Are you interested in seeing this movie?
No Apollos under the number of 12.
No, so 13 is okay.
Yeah. 12 is great.
Yeah, but no, are you a science fiction guy?
I am.
Are
But
you
it's not
interested?
really science fiction, though. It's science fact,
Science fact. Ooh,
which
very
is
well.
far more intriguing.
Okay.
sometimes.
Did you see First Man?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's
I'm a little
okay.
behind.
I would
busy.
opt for Apollo 11 much quicker than I'd go for the other one. Basically, is this the? Do we have the preview of Apollo 11? All right, we're gonna watch this, and then you know what? I could even talk over it. We'll do picture in picture. Here we go. All right. So here we have. I'll stay silent for the first little bit, just so we can get a sense of what this movie is all about.
I'd like to know what you feel as far as the responsibilities of representing mankind on this trip.
Ah, fuck it. Let's just watch the whole thing and then I'll comment after.
Difficult to answer. It's a job that we collectively said that was possible and we could do, and of course the nation itself is backing us, so we just sincerely hope that we measure up to that.
The whole Apollo program was designed to get two Americans to the lunar surface and back again to Earth safely. The enormity of this event is something that only history will be able to judge.
Apollo 11 has very simply been given the mission of carrying men to the moon, landing them there, and bringing them safely back.
Okay, I'd like controllers, go to go. I don't go. Go. GNC, go. Econ, go. Surgeon, go. Captain Onward, go for landing. Finger, go for landing, over. Roger, go for landing. 30 feet, 2.5 now. 30 seconds. 4 forward, just to the right, roll. 20 feet, now and a half. Forward, just to the right. Contact light.
There you go. So Apollo 11, directed by Todd Douglas Miller. It's a really interesting movie because it's basically a documentary where they culled all this archival footage. Apparently, NASA and MGM had a deal to make movies about their space programs. This is back in the 60s. Right. That they were filming it all on 70 millimeter Panavision.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And it got scrapped like a couple of months before the takeoff. And so as Apollo 11 takeoff was ramping up, they decided, you know what, let's just give it one more shot. They gave it to one of the editors. He decided, to one of the people who was editing, the original project that got scrapped, and he decided, why don't we turn the cameras inwards and see as much of what's going on in the control room and the spectators, and let's get really, it's this grandiose thing, but let's look for the humanity there. And all these tapes were lost, and
put to storage somewhere.
Yeah, they were shelved in the archives. And what's more is that there were 11,000 hours of audio footage that was all on 30-track recordings. So all those people in all those control rooms were basically recorded, but it's just one big massive chaos of sound.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is the guy who took on that project, a guy named Ben Feist, who is from Toronto. He is the head of a tech ad agency. He's the singer Feist's brother.
I was going to joke in relation to Feist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course he is.
And he went and he took all this stuff, and with the help of, I think, University in Texas, they basically cleaned everything up and separated it, and that allowed them to kind of match up the visuals and the sound, and then put together this beautiful film that's, there's no narration, there's no, the only voices you hear are the people in the control room or the newscasters. And, at some point, as they're going up into space, someone mentions Kennedy and the Chappaquiddick situation, and it kind of brings you right back down to Earth.
Yeah, that stuff.
And it's there's this it's human.
Yeah.
There's so much humanity, but it's also filmed in 70 millimeter film, so it's like they made Sound of Music and Cleopatra, and so you're used to seeing these grandiose things, but they managed to make it so that you're both feeling the tiny and the small and the micro.
I love that shot they had there, just Armstrong and the crew getting ready to go on.
Right, exactly.
In that moment, and just the faces, just like, the fuck is going through your mind at that point?
You're in their heads. You're there with them, with their faces. So it really needs to be seen in IMAX. And that's one. I didn't get to see it in IMAX, but I dream of being able to, like, if you're gonna go, make sure to see it in IMAX.
I used to love From Earth to the Moon, the Tom Cruise produced series. Remember that?
Fuck Tom
From
Cruise.
HBO?
Sorry, what?
No, not Tom Cruise. Sorry, Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Cruise on the
Okay,
Line.
right.
Yeah. The better Tom.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, it's a great series.
Another thing I loved about this movie was the music. So the guy's name is Matt Morton, and what he did is he composed the music with all instruments that date to pre-1969. And he actually bought a 1968 Moog to make those kind of spacey moon sounds. It's iconic images infused with warm music and lots of humanity. I mean, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's not for nothing.
No, I will see that one.
Yeah, so
in IMAX.
I highly
Sold.
recommend. All right,
Sold by the trailer,
and you guys should see it. And we're working on finding a better version of the Fresh Prince video. Any luck on that so far?
We'll just have to hear the audio to see if it's the right one.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
so
find out
we're
together.
gonna give it a try.
We'll vamp in the meantime.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Will. Look at you. Look at you. The only reason why you're not in jail is because Uncle Phil called in a favor.
Take your time. Go deep.
Too easy.
You throw this?
You're stupid.
You are carrying a gun on the streets to protect yourself? I've done my best, Will. But it's time for a change. You're going to Bel Air to live with your uncle and your auntie.
Bel Air. Out of all places.
This is a second chance, Will. Don't waste it.
Will, I will not bail you out again. In this house, I'm not Uncle Phil. I'm the law. Have I made myself absolutely clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are no butlers to clean up your messes. You've got to be responsible for yourself.
So, Will, what brings you to Bel Air?
I got caught with a gun. How are we related again?
Shut up, Carlton.
He's from the streets of Philadelphia. Will needs discipline.
Just a little time. Just a little time and a little love. We are what he needs.
Why don't you go back to Philly? Born and raised, right?
You think I would ever want to be in this life?
You're not welcome, Will.
This is fake.
Wherever you're from,
This is fake. You didn't do anything to earn this. I never had nothing.
My life ain't a sitcom, I guess. I don't even feel like I belong here.
Just give it some time. Everything happens for a reason.
Yo, you must be from Philly.
Yeah. What's up, man? I'm Will.
Jazz.
Jazz?
Hey, so what part of town you staying in?
Bel Air. They got you out there?
All right, Philly, let's see what you got. Will, welcome to Bel Air Academy.
How's everything going at Bel Air?
It's not too bad out here. I just made the team.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so glad you're here. I need to take you shopping. Rodeo Drive. Oh my gosh.
I was summoned by God to be the greatest. They say my birth is a curse, I still made it. I stood out in the field when it was raining. 10 toes down in it. Youngin' came up strong with a will to live. Daddy never came home, mama in the pen. So it's relative, got him till the devil did. The streets ain't safe, just be playing in. It's like deja vu, see it all the time. Yeah, it's like deja vu, see it all the time.
Hey, Jazz. Hey, Prince. You can go here? Nah.
I mean, it could work.
It could work.
Yeah. I mean, I think this was
Straight to
uploaded
Netflix.
as a joke, but you were mentioning there was another Fresh Prince that was like a remixed.
Yeah, there's one of the scene where his dad's supposed to come visit him, sort of abandoned him when he was a kid, and then he doesn't show up. So it's him dealing with that moment.
Yeah, I remember that
talking
one.
with his Uncle Phil. But they've put the soundtrack, the title song from Twin Peaks behind it, just to make it really dark and gritty. And yet it actually really works. And at the end, you're like, wow, Will Smith's a really good actor. It's amazing the power of the soundtrack.
Absolutely.
That little clip proves it so much, because at the time it's like, oh, that's a good little scene.
But I think, I mean, you bring up a good point, is that there's this whole movement of people remixing trailers.
Yeah.
So I don't know, one of my favorites was, you ever see Mrs. Doubtfire? I think it's Mrs. Doubtfire as a horror. Can you see if you could pull that one up? Actually, I think that would be that one is really, really scary. You could not imagine, but you know, and it really is the music.
Yep.
It's all about the music.
The way you cut it together.
One of my favorites also is Broke Back to the Future.
Yep, that one's great.
That's tremendous. And I think
The Shining was the first one.
Oh, right. As a romantic comedy, and that's where
and the voiceover too. Like,
yeah, that's true. But
he had writer's block. Like, oh.
And Salisbury Hill from Peter Gabriel.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's straight away.
Unfortunately, there are 6 or more different ones that might all be that's how I read, by the way. I'm just learning to read.
No, it's very impressive. You're doing well. Keep
that
it
I'm
up.
thinking of. So
Sound it out.
I think if you just do what is it, Mrs. Doubtfire horror trailer, and there's 6 different ones. Oh, it probably just has something. Let's just try any of them. I think it's all right. It's like we're calling a depth of field crapshoot right here. We'll figure it out.
Anything could happen. Oh God, it's porn. Oh
Right.
dear.
In the meantime, I'll do a little bit more tagline trivia.
Oh God,
because that's a lot of fun. All right. We were at a classic story about a boy and his mother. Let's
Yeah, that was
see.
Psycho. Right?
Oh, wow. Well, I've never heard of this one, but
good.
It sounds like it's something right up your alley. They're tobacco-chewing, gut-chomping, cannibal kinfolk from hell.
Right up my alley. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of this either. It's a 1987 film. Kind of sounds like the type of people that inhabit the Outlast.
No, I have no idea.
Redneck zombies.
No, I never saw it.
No, never even heard of
Missed
it.
that
But
one.
tobacco-chewing, gut-chomping, cannibal kinfolk from hell. Oh, hey, speaking of all things like that, and you being a Kiwi,
Yep.
Brain Dead?
Yes. Peter Jackson.
Yes. Went under another name too, right?
It did. It had a couple of numbers. There was Bad Taste.
Bad Taste,
Was the
right.
original
But
name.
those were 2 separate
Bad Taste
films?
was the first movie. Then it was Brain Dead. Bad Taste is infinitely superior, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Brain Dead in New Zealand.
Where is New Zealand
went to
still
Heavenly
very
Creatures.
proud of Peter Jackson, or is there still a sense of ownership? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's worth billions of dollars to our economy still.
right,
Just
still?
in people that come to do the Hobbit Town tours. And all
No
that kind of
kidding.
stuff. Yeah, it's worth a fortune to the country.
Wow. Well, I do remember being in New Zealand in '96 and walking through the forest, and my buddy said, "This is where they should." This so reminds me of Lord of the Rings. So I guess.
Yeah, watching The Lord of the Rings, I just moved here. As an actor, I moved to Canada a week before they started casting for Lord of the Rings.
No.
Back home.
You think? And I'm sure the acting community in New Zealand is not that.
No, it's
huge.
not. It's not massive. It's pretty small. And the lead casting agent was someone that we all knew. She was in the improv circles that I was in too.
No.
Doesn't mean I would have got anything on it. It's,
Well, could you have seen yourself in any particular role?
well, I mean, I was clearly should have been Legolas.
Right. Okay.
That's how I get every Friday and Saturday night.
Right.
No, Jackson. Yeah, and even now, like the movie he did before Lord of the Rings called The Frighteners was the real genius of Peter Jackson. Because for that movie, he convinced them that there were no special effects houses close enough to where they were shooting in New Zealand to do the effects for him. So he got them to give him the money to build an effects studio there, which became Weta, right?
Right. For
So
which movie was
The
that?
Frighteners.
No kidding.
He creates the ghosts and stuff in that movie. So that becomes Weta, right? Which then becomes critical for everything he's done since, and is now this huge employer in Wellington.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter Jackson's actually bought almost an entire suburb now. He bought all the houses, one by one, because he uses that when he was shooting and stuff. He would just have all his crew and all his stuff just staying in homes rather than hotels.
Really?
Yeah.
His last movie, what's the most recent one he did?
That he actually directed was the They Will Not Grow Old, the documentary, the World War I.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
It's incredible. It's restored footage.
It's really good?
Yeah, they've changed the frame rates, smoothed that out. They've colorized it, made it into 3D.
And
So it looks modern day.
Really?
It's incredible.
Okay, I got to see that then. What's his last fiction, though?
I don't think he's done anything since The Hobbit, has he?
Really? Okay. So, but
he
he's
wasn't supposed to do The Hobbit, right?
No, and admittedly, I didn't see The Hobbit. I kind of lost interest after Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Just another 14 hours of it. That's
all right, what's your take on Guillermo del Toro?
I like him.
Yeah.
Again, inventive, creative. I like some people that have the distinct aesthetic.
Did you like Shape of Water?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, on to the trivia.
You've passed the test.
Okay.
Or we will never be friends. It was one of those two moments.
Family isn't a word, it's a sentence. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I can give you some hints, too. It has at least one of the Wilson brothers, if not both. It also has...
I think it has Ben Stiller as well.
It does have Ben Stiller.
And Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
The Tenenbaums.
That's right.
The Royal Tenenbaums.
Royal Tenenbaums. Very good. Does that also? I know it has Luke Wilson, but does it have Owen?
I feel like it has both.
I think so.
I feel like it has the set.
Yeah. Okay. The set.
The set of Wilsons.
Isn't there a third?
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
Okay, that's right.
Name the third Wilson.
I can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
God, that's gonna be fun around Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh yeah.
At the Wilson house, right?
Name the third Hemsworth.
I'm gonna say Buff. Feels like a
good old Buff Hemsworth.
Guest.
Okay.
Another Australian. He's probably Bruce.
Right.
Good old Bruce.
I do. I have to admit, I like Chris Hemsworth though. He has
a sense of humor, which I like.
Exactly. All right.
He obviously works out too much, but whatever.
Oh yes, There Will Be Blood. It's a sequel, and it's not the sequel to There Will Be Blood.
Well, there wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be, would there? Oh yes, There Will Be Blood.
It's a horror.
Yeah, it would have to be.
From a huge franchise. This was the sequel to the first one, and that particular sequel came out in 2005. A lot of blood, a lot of gore. The first one.
Saw 2.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. My hint was going to be the first one starred an actor from one of the greatest movies of all time, who never really did much after that one.
Which one is that?
Carrie. Oh, also an Aussie. Well, also an Aussie. Oh boy.
Wow.
Also from your part of the world, right? Exactly.
Throw him out, flip the table, break a glass.
Carrie Elwes. Is that how you pronounce his last name? The guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah, I worked with him.
You did?
Yep.
No way.
On The Art of More. I had a couple of days on The Art of More.
The Art of More, not The Art of War.
No, The Art of More.
Okay.
A
TV show.
A TV show which was shot here in Montreal about the art dealer world.
There was a movie shot here in Montreal called The Art of War.
Wesley Snipes.
Which starred my hat.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so this is my short-lived career as an extra, which started on Stardom when I played a rock star, and then my second role was a biker. And then my second role was a caveman in a children's movie, and then the third one was a biker, and the fourth one I was supposed to be a rape victim. So I really.
But instead, you ended up being a hat.
And then I was a hat, right? So I was a hat in that movie, and then they had
Who was the real victim at that point?
And my hat. Oh, you're gonna love this. My hat in the movie was made by Granny.
I get so excited about a hat story.
It was knitted by a Kiwi, by Granny Annie, the grandmother of my friend. Yeah, and it was my favorite hat. It was
From
like a
Palmerston
Rasta
North,
hat.
right?
No, not from Palmerston North. From.
Took me seriously.
No, I know, but because it wasn't far from there. It was like no, maybe a Bay of Plenty, I think.
Oh, Bay of Plenty.
Yeah, exactly. Not even close.
It's close.
North Island.
Yeah, it's the same island. Close-ish.
So Granny Annie, she knit me a
knit you a
hat, and my hat was prominent in the scene. I was like in a what was it? I think it was an internet cafe, because internet cafes were a thing back then, and they had to reshoot the scene
because of the hat.
Well, they had to call me and ask. They needed me to. I was just an extra, and they needed me back there.
The continuity.
And I said, I can't make it that day. And they said, well, can we just have your hat?
We'll send a driver.
And they paid me for it. I was like, I charged them. I raked them over the coals.
Did you send a cut back to Granny Annie?
No.
Did you at least tell her it's in a movie?
I actually have to admit, Granny Annie's granddaughter, who was a friend of mine, is how I forget her name. Wow. But it was 1996. It's going back a long time, but she was so great. If whoever you are is out there, find me again.
New Zealander whose granny was Annie.
And tell.
Bay of Plenty admitted. That's narrowed it down to 3,000 people.
Okay, so New Zealand's biggest exports. Peter Jackson, in the film and TV industry. So Peter Jackson, Taika Waititi. I guess Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, you've got Carl Urban.
Who?
Carl Urban.
Who's that?
Judge Dredd.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
The Bones on Star Trek.
Yeah, okay.
That's him. There was the quirky female in 2.5 Men, the stalkery one.
That's.
I'm scraping the barrel.
Yeah, we are scraping.
Because I can't remember the names of them.
And Simon
Neill.
Peacock. Sam
Neill.
Oh, really?
Jurassic Park.
I didn't know that.
Beloved Sam Neill.
Okay.
Yep.
And I mean, we can also talk music because the Finn brothers are originally New Zealand, are they not?
Crowded House, the Finns.
Who else are the big New Zealand acts?
The big New Zealand acts. Well, there's Lorde.
Lorde's New Zealand.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She'd be the single biggest. Like she outsold the Finn brothers.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Quite substantially and easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when there was a group called She Had when I was.
I remember She Had. Yeah.
You remember?
Yep.
Anybody out there remember She Had? Or are we getting way?
Pretty obscure.
Okay. Back to the trivia.
I'll take New Zealand metal bands for 1,000,
right.
please. Out. Oh, it's too soon to talk to.
All right. No. Oh yeah. Okay. Great trilogies come in threes. No, forget that. Oof.
Ooh.
The List is life. And yes, I went there.
I hate it already.
Yeah.
That's the tagline. The list is life.
Yeah. And list is in the movie title.
Oh, Schindler's List.
Yeah. Let's move on. A romantic comedy with zombies.
I'm still in Schindler's List. A romantic movie about was it the first Buffy?
Romantic comedy with zombies?
It was kind of.
Shaun of the Dead.
It was vampires. It's late. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead. Good film.
Or I guess more recently, Warm Bodies, filmed here in Montreal as well. Okay, no, we won't do that. See Our Family and Feel Better About Yours. Animation.
Animation.
Based on a TV series, a very, 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 very popular TV series. Not Game of Thrones.
Because that fits the tag.
Right, exactly.
Well. I would watch the animated Game of Thrones.
Me too. I actually have to admit I'm only on season 2. Can you believe that? I know.
What?
I know, because I see more movies than I watch TV and
The temptation right now to just ruin it all for you?
No, don't. Well, I basically know who dies and who comes back to life.
Deserve to have it ruined.
But I was obviously very surprised when Ned Stark got it.
Oh, that's the most surprising thing that happens in the show.
Come on.
Everybody else lives.
Right.
Happily, there's some great weddings where everyone's happy. It's just
okay, good.
fun.
Good. All right.
I don't know what that was. I've even forgotten the tagline entirely. Something about a family.
Oh, The Simpsons. Simpsons movie.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Spider Pig.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of the movie.
Daddy's home and he's not very happy? No. Oh, The Thing That Won't Die in the Nightmare That Won't End. One of the greatest movies of all time.
The Thing That Won't Die in the Nightmare That Won't End.
Anybody? What's that?
Freddy vs. Jason.
Not Freddy vs. Jason.
One of the greatest movies of all time. The Thing That Won't Die. No, I don't know.
Okay. The Thing That Won't Die. And it's not Freddy or Jason.
The Thing.
It does actually die in the movie. That's the weird
It's
thing.
not John Carpenter's The Thing, would be.
No, but you're very close now. I'll give you a hint.
Not The Abyss.
Schwarzenegger.
Terminator.
There.
It is?
Yeah. The Thing That Won't Die in the Nightmare That Won't End.
Thank you for whispering it in the audience. No, it's good, because otherwise I'd sit here going,
Oh, this is a great tagline. Okay. Love is in the hair.
That's a little personal.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Simon.
I'm out again. Love is in the hair. Hair.
Okay,
Hairspray?
I'll give you a hint. This also has Ben Stiller in it.
Oh, yeah, all right. Something about Mary.
There you go. I like it. Okay.
That is a good tagline, actually.
How about this one? Another one of the, actually, possibly the greatest.
All these movies up a lot.
Does for rock and roll what The Sound of Music did for Hills?
That's the, what's that? You know, we're learning just what a sharp brain I have as I get older now.
Fat Bottom Girls?
Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, sorry, no, not Big Bottom, no, yeah, no. Wait a minute. It's Spinal Tap, but wait, theirs was Fat Bottom Girls, right? Or Big Bottoms? Fat Bottom Girls is Queen, Big Bottoms is Spinal Tap.
You know, Spinal Tap, at the same time, there's a group of British comedians that did the same idea, which is, I think we're called the Bad Goes on Tour or something like that.
Oh, I never saw that.
Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson, who are the creators of The Young Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
It's very funny.
I literally thought you were going to go and you were going to mention something about the Ruddles.
Ruddles is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good film.
But if
have you seen the trailer for Yesterday?
Yes, I was actually going to put that. You know, I always look for new trailers, but Yesterday looks really interesting.
Yeah.
What's your take on Danny Boyle?
I generally like him, but he's a little hit and miss.
What has he missed with?
Well, the one on the beach with
The Beach?
DiCaprio. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Beach.
Sharp, Simon.
I'm really
Real
good
sharp.
with titles. You know, the film with the shark with the big jaws. What was that one? The film that E.T. was in. What was that called? I forget, but there were wars in space and stars. Yeah, The Beach was pretty awful. Trainspotting 2, not a good film.
Which one?
Trainspotting 2.
A terrible movie.
The first one's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yes.
The second one.
Why? It wasn't necessary.
Didn't need to do it. I saw him on the streets of London not long before that. I saw him walking around the streets holding the binder with T2 written on it.
Which he had to pay.
And now I feel like if I had knocked him down and stolen the binder, I could have saved us all a lot of trouble.
He's done TV too. Oh, there was a TV show that I wanted to see that he did. I think about there's a movie. Oh God, the one that Kevin Spacey was taken out of. Was based on the same thing of a TV show that he did. Which I'm getting really way out there. I'm a huge fan of Danny Boyle.
I love Slumdog's great.
Yeah.
Trainspotting, one of my favorite films ever.
A lot of people shit on Slumdog.
I like Slumdog.
It was a great movie.
Lion I never saw.
Oh, he did Lion?
Yeah.
Danny Boyle.
I believe so.
Really?
Pretty sure.
I'm going to look this up. But my 127 Hours was like,
it's a great film.
And Shallow Grave.
Shallow Grave was where it all started.
Yeah, I think I saw Shallow Grave when I was in New Zealand.
But then, see, The Beach was the end of his relationship with Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor was supposed to be the lead in that film.
Oh.
But the studios forced him into, we want an American star. We're going to get you one of the biggest. We're going to get you Leonardo.
It might have worked in the movie's favor, though.
They pushed Ewan out, and that was when the two of them stopped making films. So there was a grudge there for many years, which is
real?
One of the reasons why Trainspotting 2 was delayed was the two of them had to bury the hatchet.
No kidding. But what? Okay, hold on. I'm looking. Okay, so Lion movie.
Yeah.
Let's see, Lion movie, and Wikipedia is going to tell us right away. Directed by Garth Davis.
So I'm completely wrong.
Completely wrong, yeah.
So me not watching Lion doesn't change my opinion of Danny Boyle at all.
No, and I haven't seen Lion, and I know I should.
I know it's the same actor from, it's Steve Patel, right, from Slumdog.
Oh, that's probably why you're thinking it. Okay, yeah. So yes, Danny Boyle, I'm very excited about seeing Yesterday. What, I mean, did he write it too?
I don't know.
What a great concept for a movie.
It's a great concept, but at the same time, it's like, but would their music be as popular today? Music's come a long way since then.
That, I wish we had started with this.
Classic songs, but it's just like a guy singing Yesterday with a guitar. Would that still be a hit today?
But the Beatles were more than just...
There's an element of timelessness to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But look, also our music industry is completely different to what it was back
then,
too.
I don't think...
There's no saturation of one artist anymore.
They might not have, but they were such great...
You'd have to go on Idol. That's how we'd have to do it.
Oh, God. You know, oh my God. Well, thank God that doesn't exist anymore. But I've always said that if you
Idol's back.
Idol's back?
Yeah, it's a new season.
Get the
Katy
fuck
Perry.
out. What?
Some Country Guy, and Lionel Richie.
I love Lionel Richie.
And you know, there was a blind girl that came in audition the other day, and he didn't sing hello. It disappointed me deeply. Because how can you not acknowledge?
No, of course.
How can you not?
Greatest
It's
video
the
of all
elephant in
time.
the room, right?
Yeah.
You spent a whole video with a blind girl with a clay version of your face touching it. Hello.
Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and some country guy. Oh my God. I've always maintained that if Neil Young were to go on The Voice, or Bob Dylan, or Janis Joplin, or all of them would be off. I always considered, not The Voice, Idol.
Yeah.
If any of those people, Idol was a cancer on the music industry as far as I'm concerned. The Voice, not so bad because they would celebrate.
But from the industry, it's the opposite though, because Idol has generated stars who have sold stuff like Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson, whereas The Voice named someone from The Voice.
Good point.
None of them have amounted to anything relatively.
Yeah. But okay, so maybe not maybe not a cancer
Hudson,
on the music industry,
Ruben
but a cancer
Studdard,
on
Clay
music.
Aiken. Not that I
Clay
was-
Aiken.
Because the world needs more Clay.
That's true. Where's he been all our lives? You know, I think this is a great time for us to.
When you get to Clay Aiken, it's time to end the conversation.
I would like to ask you what you're up to, because that's what we do. But I think you're just going to answer with 3 letters, right? NDA.
NDA is, but there are 3 very large video games circling around in the ether in Montreal at the moment. That in the next year or 2 will be coming out that I think people will be very excited about.
Really? And you're working on all 3, but you can't talk about them. Have they been casted yet?
Some.
Well, if you need a voice, this guy.
You do a good slashing.
I do, yeah. And my orgy is top notch.
That's not what I heard.
Well, yeah, forget the syphilis, but anyway.
I'll go back.
Where can people find you if they want to follow you on your non-existent social media?
Where can Scientology find you after you dissed them off the beginning? Let's make it easy for them. I'll give Dean Cain your number. I'm on Instagram. I forget what my name there is. I think it's probably Kiwi Refugee.
Kiwi?
It is. Thank you.
Okay.
Some people know. I don't. Yeah, I'm on Instagram as Kiwi Refugee. I'm on Facebook just on my name.
Awesome.
That's where I try and avoid the Outlast fans because they tend to be quite strange, the ones that try and friend you on.
What? Really?
There was when the game first came out, the first one, I had like 300 different friend requests from people in Poland.
Because of Outlast 2?
Yeah.
Or Outlast or Outlast 2?
The first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Because your name is
In the credits, so they looked it up, I guess.
Oh my
Figured it
God.
out.
Are you like, do you get recognized on the street?
Oh
or-
God, no.
No.
No one sees this.
Well, except
There's a reason why I'm a voice director.
Well, thank you very much for voice directing this whole episode. Thank you for stopping by. It was a great pleasure.
It was fun.
And thank you guys all. We'll be back next week. And don't forget, do we have, what are we promoting tomorrow? Is there a show tomorrow? Cosplay Cave is tomorrow night. So get your coolest duds out, starting at 6:30 right here on our Beanduck Twitch channel.
I'm coming as Val Kilmer from that scene.
All right, show us your abs. Come on.
I can't because I don't have any.
You don't have a 13-pack?
No.
All right. Well, neither does Val anymore, so you're in good company.
Val's just a 1-pack.
You know, we've really shat on a lot of people. My apologies to Val Kilmer, Scientology, and Dean Cain.
Dean Cain in particular.
Anybody else that we may have thrown under the
Quentin
bus?
Tarantino.
And Quentin Tarantino, yeah. Because you're all way more talented.
True,
and
much better than we are.
Exactly. So on behalf of all of us, sorry and thanks.
It's not a real show unless you end on an apology.
All the